Welcome to Orange County Power Players, where we spotlight the personal, professional, and financial success stories of OC's top leaders. Here's your host, Danny Flores.
Welcome back to OC Power Players, where I interview some of the most successful people in Orange County. I'm Danny Flores, your host, and today's honored guest is Joe Ball, zooming in from North Tustin. Meet Joseph Ball, one of our incredible career and business coaches with over 25 years of leadership experience spanning technical manufacturing, nonprofit social services, and real estate development. Joe brings a uniquely well-rounded perspective to his coaching. His background in operations, finance, and quality management makes him a go-to guide for professionals and entrepreneurs navigating complex challenges and growth phases. Joe is known for his mission-focused mindset, proven team building and problem-solving expertise, and a values-driven ethical approach to business. He believes, as Aristotle once said, excellence is never an accident. It is always the result of high intention, sincere effort, and intelligent execution. Joe holds a bachelor's in management and an MBA in finance from Pepperdine University. Outside of work, you'll find him enjoying time with his wife, children, and grandchildren. Welcome, Joe.
Thank you for having me, Danny.
Yeah, absolutely. Happy to have you. So tell us a little bit about your journey and how you ended up being a coach with all that experience.
Well, my career actually started in the manufacturing, in the aerospace and defense industry, for a small size company out in LA County, and we specialized in engineered plastics, composites, and did a lot of work with a lot of the big four, Lockheed and Boeing and Raytheon and others, making smaller components for solid rocket propulsion. I spent the first quarter of my career, actually more than that, working my way up, starting out in the factory and working my way up until I was the division manager for the aerospace unit located here in the United States. It's a great experience. Loved what we did. I worked up through quality, warehousing, first manufacturing and warehousing, quality, back into manufacturing operations, and then into leadership. When a private equity group bought the company, we parted ways, and I, at that time, was looking to have a change in my career. My wife spent her whole career working for the County of Orange in children and family services, and we did a lot of volunteer work through our church and other organizations. And so I transitioned into the nonprofit world. And I spent over a decade with the Salvation Army, managing programs in Southeast Los Angeles County in the 5-city area of Whittier, Norwalk, Santa Fe Springs, Pico Rivera, Downey. Enjoyed my time with the Salvation Army, excellent group. From there, did some work with Lutheran Social Services and Charitable Ventures in the city of Orange, which is a nonprofit incubator. But during that time, my wife and I kind of, not intentionally, but began to invest in real estate. I say not intentionally because it wasn't our idea at first to have income properties, but we were combining households in a second marriage. We ended up having one, and it kind of grew from there and then became more of an intentional mission on our part, working with some local realtors in Santa Ana. Shout out to Dick Seifert with Remax in Santa Ana, great guy. And we built up our portfolio of mainly single-family residences here in the Orange County area. And in 2019, we decided to take a different direction, and we began to divest the single-family residences in California and began to invest in destination locations around the world. And beginning in Mexico, expanding till now, we have property in Nicaragua, in Panama, and we recently took a trip to Portugal to look to begin maybe a European base. One of the things we like to do is we don't necessarily always purchase in areas that are big on everyone's map, on the radar. We like some of the spots that are a little less traveled, but that offer a lot of activity and excitement and beauty and culture. for people to go to. And with each of our locations, part of the income we get goes back to local charities, so that we're always helping our local communities wherever we're at. And as I've grown, not only physically as I get older, but in my career, I had the opportunity to begin coaching and love that. I work with Douglas Hahn with a Hahn Consulting Group. They're based in Atlanta, Georgia. And so I do a little bit of personal coaching and professional mentoring and small business consulting, and have found that to be really fulfilling. And from my years of experience in operations and finance, has been a good match for me.
No, that sounds like a very exciting life there, right? From all the changes and transitions that you've made, but to also being able to travel work at the same time, right?
Yeah, that's really one of the benefits. We do have overseas property managers, but we visit the properties on a regular basis.
Right.
It's nice to be able to be able to do that. It is one of the perks of
right.
that line of business. So I can't say that I don't enjoy it.
No, that's interesting. And then being able to give back, right? I think that's important for all of us. And whatever we do in life, whether we're super successful or just successful in our own way, right? We all have a talent, we all have an energy, we all have some skill that perhaps we can help somebody come up the ladder in the direction that we went through.
Yeah, for me, it's trying to help others avoid some of the pitfalls that I made early on. If I can help them on their journey and make it a little smoother so they get to their destination, their business destination, or whatever their desired outcome is, a little quicker with a little less hiccups. For me, that's a great reward. It's passing on the experience from my years within various industries.
Right. Now, so I have so many questions, but
sure.
As you're coaching people, and I know that being an entrepreneur will get you to a certain level, doesn't take you to the next level. You have to reconfigure. And how do you reconfigure? Because you don't know how. That's the thing. The skills that we say, as an example, if an entrepreneur works his way up to $1 million sales a year, whatever he's doing, he's going to have trouble making it to the $10 million level because he doesn't know how.
Right.
So what are the biggest bottlenecks, pitfalls that you can avoid as you coach these guys?
Well, one of the biggest pitfalls is trying to scale too quickly, not looking at sustainable growth, because we want our growth to be sustainable. And it's easy in the excitement when you're bringing on a lot of new clients and you're having good success and you feel great and you overextend yourself. And so one of the first things that I work with them is to truly have a business plan, to sit down and look 3 to 5 to 10 years out. Look at where do we want to go, and then to develop the strategy, how do we get there in a manner that's sustainable and lays the foundation for easy growth, right? How do we operationally expand without hurting ourselves financially? Or and for entrepreneurs, sometimes there's a reluctance to let go and to be able to allow others to help them to grow, because as entrepreneurs, we're used to having the full control. We're used to being in the day-to-day and directing. And one of the things that I help coach people with is giving themselves the freedom to let go a little bit of all the responsibility, to build that trust within their team so that they can then guide the vision and the mission, which is higher up, the strategy, right? And let the day-to-day operations be attended to by whom they hire, right? So a lot of that we talk about is the hiring process. How do we hire right? What are we looking for? That's a part of our strategy as well. We're really looking for people who are invested in our vision and our mission. And and to take the steps that are necessary to allow the organization, the business, the entity to grow both strategically as we're going, but also organically. As the people that you work with grow and develop and mature, we want them to progress with the organization as well. So there's
Right.
that business plan and that business strategy is key to helping them to grow to the next level each time.
Right, right. And that those are the important steps in a business.
Right.
Not having those steps will really slow your growth down or stagnate your growth,
Right.
basically. Because you get stuck, right? You get stuck. And I think one important thing that you said, as an entrepreneur, when you start, you do everything,
Right.
right? And you said to delegate and
Right.
to peel off the layers and give you that freedom of time back. Like you said, vision and mission, and to grow and build relationships with clients or whatever your business is, right?
Right.
Super important steps, but hard to walk if you don't have guidance, I think.
It can be a path that's rocky, right? If you don't
Right.
if you don't have that guidance and you're trying to navigate it on your own, and you're trying to balance all of the things that you feel you should be doing as a leader. There's a lot of times, oh, I should be involved in this detail, and I should be here, and I should be the face of the organization. So trying to prioritize, delegate, as you said, and
Yeah.
and build that and bring people along. And I think part of that's key to that too, is including those that you are surrounded by within your planning and in what it is that you're looking to do to help them, to help you move
Right.
forward. That's key.
Yeah. And I think also it's not about just you, but about helping your team grow individually, right? They have goals and dreams and plans. It's like, why not include those? Like, what do you want to do? Do you like to vacation? Do you want that house? Do you want to run a bigger team?
Right.
Or just like really digging in deep and finding out about them, right?
Right. Yeah, very much so. And sometimes building their entrepreneurial spirit, so that they become excited and they may want to start something on their own. And I think that's amazing. If you can help launch others into their own passion,
Right.
that's
How
great.
better can it get, right?
Yeah, I mean, that to me is amazing. I've worked with people and even individuals I've worked with in various organizations who have risen to positions higher than I ever did. And I love that, because mentoring them along the way, and then as they grew even farther. And I think that's a reward in and of itself.
Right. So do you have a success story without mentioning any names, like whether you started coaching and where they were at, what their struggles were, and spending a little bit of time planning, strategizing, creating plans, and what you were able to do and take them to?
Yeah, I worked with an individual who began working for me in the nonprofit field, and very intelligent, good common sense, a great attitude and aptitude, but learning to work with people, right? Mentoring to work with people and to navigate a corporate structure. Even though it's a nonprofit, there's still a corporate structure to most organizations, and being able to understand sometimes the subtle undercurrents of, I hate to say it, but of the politics of organizations, because they're there, because we're people. That happens.
They exist, yes.
They exist, and learning how to navigate that, and how to be forthright and honest, and maintaining your integrity at the same time, following through on what needs to be done without offending, without coming across sometimes as a little too blunt, or what the word would be, some people would say uncaring. But
Yeah.
because they're more focused on getting the job done.
I just need to talk to you for 2 minutes because it's
Yeah.
exactly what I need.
Yeah, this is what I
Not
need.
that I don't care about how your family or your dog or anybody else is doing, but right now, this is what I need.
Exactly. And framing that in a way that so the other person, the person on the receiving end, understands what it is you're doing, but that you do care about them as a person. So working with with this individual over a course of several years and began to progress. I moved on, and that individual now is one of the top individuals in Southern California, from Santa Barbara to San Diego, in a very large, a worldwide nonprofit.
Wow.
And has risen farther than I ever imagined for myself, and has done very well. And we keep in contact on a regular basis, and it's been really a pleasure to watch her grow and to watch all that she's accomplished. And it's truly a credit to her and her own skill set and her own and really her willingness to learn and to grow and to take on challenges that at first might have seemed a bit daunting.
Yeah.
But having the confidence to tackle it and grow from there, right? Never to be afraid of taking on a new challenge.
Right. And it's they say it's that uncomfortable feeling. When it's uncomfortable, you're entering new territory, right? We all, it happens to all of us. We get nervous, and it's just like, oh, but doing it, because you're growing while you're going through that, where it could become second nature in 2 or 3 times from doing that.
There is a portion in our brain, a small area in our brain, that actually grows when we attempt and then achieve something that we find very difficult, even if it's something as small as like, I'm going to start getting up every morning at 5:30. I don't want to, it's terrible, but you force yourself, and that part of our brain recognizes that, and the connections chemically within our brain begin to grow there to where that becomes then more comfortable. Like you said, it's truly a physical growth that happens, as well as a mental and an emotional growth when we take challenges head on and do something we really don't want to do, or we see it as difficult. But like you said, that uncomfortableness is actually a part of that growing experience that we have.
Right. And just doing the reps, right?
Yeah.
Because like you said, if you're going to get up at 5:30 in the morning, you're not used to it. You're used to sleeping into 7, but you can be an hour and a half more productive in that day. Right. And that moves the needle that much more on a daily basis. And that starts adding up. Maybe the first day or 2 of the struggle, maybe the first week of the struggle, but little by little, it just becomes part of you and becomes second nature.
Right. That's so
and then
true.
All of a sudden, you're like, whoa, like you're like a rocket booster, like you're progressing, right? Now you're killing it, and you're doing more, all because of the decision and then taking action.
Correct.
To get up an hour and a half earlier.
Yeah. And in all of the individuals I work with, one of the first things we talk about, even if it's a business client, is what's your daily routine? How do you have a routine? Because having a routine and getting yourself into a rhythm makes a big difference. Like you said, it starts your day off. You're beginning with action and growth. And then how do you finish your day? We always talk about, how do we finish our day? What are we doing the last half hour before we go to sleep? So that we finish our day on a positive note, because it's been proven through scientifically that when we do that, we wake up in a more positive note. If we don't, we have to wait until the very next sleep cycle before we can reset. So it's very important to start our day and finish our day with a routine that sets us on that positive, action-oriented growth track.
That makes sense. I personally like to wake up in the morning and I have a gratitude journal. And I have to write 3 things that I'm grateful for that day.
That's excellent.
And when I started doing that, it's almost like there's no problems during the day. Yes, there could be fires. Yes, there could be challenges, but they're not problems, because you could be sitting at home and not having anything to do with technically no problems, but you will have problems because you need money to pay your bill. So you got to keep moving, right? So that becomes a problem. But being able to look at it in a different way, you have the opportunity to provide solutions to keep the projects moving forward. And then all of these things affect people, right? The workforce, your team, your clients, it affects people. So just figuring out the solutions continually, right? That's kind of our job sometimes.
It is. And as you said, maintaining in a state of gratitude. And it's been shown again that even having that state of gratitude helps to release endorphins in our brain and helps us to keep more upbeat and more positive. And like you said, we become more solution oriented than problem oriented.
Exactly, exactly. And a better attitude. And I look at it as just waking up is a blessing in itself,
It is.
right? The
It
day you
is.
don't wake up, game over. You got no problems. They're all
That's right.
gone.
And the same at night when I'm laying my head down to sleep at night, another day finished, the gratitude of having another day, a
Yeah,
successful day that I'm able to lay my head down and with the knowledge that I did well during my day, the best I could, and have
right.
that gratitude for the day that was there. So you're starting and finishing your day with that gratitude.
Great, great. I'm gonna start doing that. I started like that and I'm gonna finish like that.
Perfect. It's a
And
great way to do it.
yeah. And so anybody who's listening to us, I mean, these are like really good nuggets here to take back and start. And then you don't have to start with both of them at the same time.
No,
You can just
no.
start with one, right?
Just
Start small
Yeah.
and make it a habit.
Yeah.
Little by little, make it a habit. Once it becomes a habit, then you start adding another thing and another thing. And
Right.
there's just so many things that we can do to improve our production, our life, our happiness, right?
Right.
You gotta be happy.
Right. And I love that you started, I love that you start with 3 because that's a number that we can all do. It's not
Right.
overwhelming. It's
Right.
okay, 3 things, and that's great. And at night, I would recommend the same, right? As you go to bed, you grateful for the day, 3 things you were grateful for that happened during the day. Even if it
Right.
was something like, oh, there was a problem, but I solved it. That's a great thing to be
Right.
grateful for, right? I overcame
Yeah.
an obstacle. And so we continue that cycle of keeping ourselves both grateful, but also in the moment that we're recognizing the things that we accomplish on a positive note and helps us to keep in that upbeat mode.
Right. Exactly. Exactly. Now you also mentioned that you work with philanthropy and you give back. Um, how have you seen, and that's super important, I think,
It is,
to be able to do that, because if we're blessed, we should bless others. I mean, it's
right?
society that gives us success, so we got to give back.
We do.
How have you been able to change people's lives? And I'm looking at it as if you can make somebody smile for the day just because of your actions, that's like golden.
Yeah. We work very closely in Central America with elementary schools in the area and providing supplies. And it's sometimes even like here in the United States, but even more so in other countries, the basic supplies, pencils and paper, the things that we might take for granted, rulers or notebooks, they have none of that, even little backpacks. And some of these children in the area in Panama that we are, which is on the Caribbean coast in the Bocas del Toro Islands, the
Mhm.
children paddle dugout canoes to go to school. They'll cross from island to island. And so,
Wow.
yeah. And so we supply the local school every year and a couple times throughout the year with supplies and then gifts for special events, hygiene products for the children. The same in Nicaragua, working with local churches and schools to provide hygiene products, basics, right? Things that we might take for granted, but are basic essentials really to help them improve their health and their education. And so we love to do that. Plus, it helps us to become more integrated with our community, to get to know the teachers and the
Right.
pastors and the various people that are combined within our communities there and
Right.
reach out and be able to help. So it's a great feeling, and it helps us to really feel connected as human beings because that's in the end what we all are. We're all
Right.
human beings.
Yes. Now, do you buy the supplies here in the States and ship them over there, or how does that work?
We've done both. Now we've collected supplies here and then shipped them down, and we have gone down and then gone into the bigger cities like Panama City or in Nicaragua, the larger towns such as uh, Tola, which is a closer town to us, and others, and bought supplies locally and delivered. So we've done both.
Mhm. And do you get a big group of people to do that, or do you just you and
We
your wife, or how does that work?
we've had big groups of people, and then we donate a part of the income that we get from the various rental properties or properties we manage to those causes as well. And that's the time then when we do it locally. We'll purchase the supplies locally.
Yeah. No, that is awesome to be able to do that, right?
Yeah, it's wonderful, and the kids are and their parents are extremely grateful, and they're loving and wonderful, and it's just a small way to try and help make life a little better.
Yeah, if we can change just for one day, right? Let alone that if you can give them supplies, and that's the supplies for the year.
Right.
You're helping these children kind of move out of the poverty level and maybe have a better chance in life.
Right. And for many of them, their education stops before high school. And so because they're working to support family and that, but we're trying to work to develop programs that they can do part-time and continue their schooling, provide all the supplies, also income for the teachers. So then these individuals can continue their education into their teens and early adult years and help them to prepare for maybe a lifestyle that they would like to choose or move to more to the city or something of that nature, right? Just to give them a leg up.
Yeah, no, that's for sure. So as we get ready to wrap up, what are the 6 to 9 months or year look like for you? What exciting plans do you have coming up?
Ooh, for myself, my wife and I continue to research new destinations for real estate investment and for development, as well as one of the big things we do. We truly believe that, as Mark Twain said, that travel is the cure for bigotry, and so we encourage our grown children always to travel and trying to help them to travel. We believe that everyone should travel. It not only does it erase barriers between cultures and people, but I think it helps us to appreciate what we have at home as well. When we see sometimes how others live, and then to continue to grow my clientele and those that I'm working with to help them to be successful, to truly have their businesses at the level that they're shooting for. I mean, for me, that's nothing's more exciting than watching people's business take off or grow from one level to the next, and to help celebrate their accomplishments.
Wow, those are awesome plans. And Joe, thank you so much for sharing all these stories, your journey and how you got there and your profession, your ability to give back to entrepreneurs and coach them, and then to be able to help other people as well. If somebody wanted to get a hold of you, how could they get a hold of you?
The easiest way is they can email me at Joe, Joe, at Douglas Hahn, which is HAAN.com, all one word, Douglas Hahn, HAAN.com, and shoot me an email, and then we can connect from there and discuss the world's possibilities, because they're unlimitless. Unlimited.
They are. I agree. Well, thank you so much for coming on our show, Joe. And to our audience, go to ocpowerplayers.com and follow us on your favorite channel. Thanks so much, Joe.
Thank you for having me, Danny. It was a pleasure.
Thanks for listening to Orange County Power Players. Want to share your success story? Apply to be a guest at ocpowerplayers.com/guest.